Good morning. Hello. Just waiting for Facebook to jump on. Good morning. I hope we're all right. How are we? Hello, hello, hello. Okay, things are up and running, I think. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Welcome if you've been many times before. Welcome if you're new. It's lovely to have you here. Nice to see you. How are you? Happy Monday. Oh my goodness, it's so dark. I've got literally every light on and hopefully the light of the window because it's ever so dark today, isn't it? Good morning. Hello. I have my lovely hot cup of tea. I hope you have something to hand as well. It's very important. Whether you have a sleeping baby or an occupied baby, I hope you get a chance to get a cup of tea or a cup of something today because it's really important that we look after ourselves, isn't it? I know when we're dedicated and looking after a baby, don't forget about yourself. If you need a wee, if you need a cup of tea, they are just as important. It's all about self-care, so don't forget to do the basics. Yes, so that's you being told, isn't it? So I hope everyone is all right this morning. How are you? Tell me, how are you? I hope you're okay. Good morning, Wild and Free Clay. That sounds exciting. Yes, tell me how you are. Are you okay? Is it, for me, it feels like the first proper day back. We were all sort of a bit back last week. First day of my youngest being in nursery, Mason being in school, and yeah, back to work. And it's really exciting because, as you know, I love what I do. However, our house, I don't know about you, our house is absolutely freezing. It's so cold. I put on this flimsy little cardigan today. I think after this, I'm going to go and put on the world's biggest jumper because it's so cold. How about you? Or do you have better insulation than we do? We are frozen. I think sometimes when you're sat working as well or you're sat still, it can feel extra cold, can't it? So whether you get the fire on or get your big woolies on, yeah. Anyway, how are you? Come on, tell me how you are. Tell me if you're okay, if you're tired, if you're hungry, if you just need someone to scream to. Tell me how you are. Because I remember after having a baby, it's so funny, isn't it? And it's lovely, but everyone's like, how's Leo? How's the baby? Sometimes people forget to ask how you are, so I hope you're okay. All good here with Roman. Super tired. Oh, gosh. Yes, it's exhausting, isn't it? It really is. I hope you're okay. I hope you get a chance today to chill, whether it's a day at home or, okay, as Daddy has a day off today. How lovely. You doing anything special? I'm not okay. I have finally caught COVID. Oh, my goodness, feeling refreshed. Oh, it's quite a mix today. It's quite a mix. I'm very sorry to the lovely lady that said that they've caught COVID. I hope you're okay. And I hope you've got people who are able to look after you and support you. Just left my 1-year-old at nursery for the first time. It's so hard, isn't it? I was with you October. I did it with Leo, and it's not easy. The toddler is back in nursery, so now I spend time with the baby. Yes, I bet it is. You almost just go. The first thing I did, dropped Leo off at nursery. Mason's gone to school. Put the kettle on and I sorted out the fruit bowl. You know, those jobs that you keep looking at and thinking, I must sort that, with all the soggy grapes at the bottom, the plums that are a bit past themselves. Those sorts of jobs that you just never get a chance to do with all the kids around, do you? You look at them and you think, I must sort that fruit bowl because there's all sorts growing at the bottom of there. So I did that. This is the kind of things that what we do, isn't it? As soon as we get some sort of childcare. Well, good morning to you all. If you haven't been before, you are super duper welcome here. Just a little reminder, everyone who is popping up, all these names who are popping up below, they are, I imagine, fellow parents, carers, educators with babies and young children. So get to know them, ask questions, chat, see if anyone's near you. Let's look after each other because it's really important. This is what this community is about. So I am joining you this morning with Elmo. Elmo is going to stand in for my baby today because my baby's in nursery. He is 16 months, but, I am going to call him my baby till he's 18. So it's just the way it is, isn't it? But I've got Elmo stepping in this morning. So he's my beautiful baby. Elmo I actually bought for me rather than the kids because my kids aren't that into soft toys. I saw him. I just thought it was absolutely brilliant. Joined for the first time. Hello. Well, hello to you. I'm so pleased you've joined us. Thank you very much. Morning, Susie. I hope you're okay. So thank you for joining in. I hope it helps. We normally start, I normally witter on about something at the beginning, and I'm about to show you an activity with lovely Elmo. Now this morning, it does come with a safety little warning guidance thing. We need to do that at the beginning. And anyone that pops on and is asking questions, please do, if you could help me out reminding them, because it is a bit of a safety one, this one. So I want you to be aware of that. Excuse me, one more gulp before we get started. Joining for the first time with my little Seb. Oh, how lovely. How old's Seb? How old are these babies? Tell me. How old are these lovely little babies? And are you like me? They're going to be babies until they're 18, let's be honest. And Sadia, how old's your little one? Do let me know. It does help me sort of adapt the activities. If I know how old the babies are, I can definitely help adapt it for you. So what I'm going to be sharing with Elmo this morning, we've got 4-month-old. Oh, here we go. 4-month-old. Oh, right. You two need to chat. You're almost 4 months old. Guys, come on. You all need to speak to each other because you're all probably going through very similar stages. 6 months old. These tiny babies, they're beautiful, but they're hard work, aren't they? So get chatting with each other. Joining for the first time with my 3-month-old. She's listening to you intently. I will watch what I'm saying, don't worry. Joining in with a 9-week-old Marvin. Oh, welcome, Marvin. And Freddie, who's 7-month-old. This is just lovely. This is why I do Baby Play Monday. Talking about babies, the baby photos I get are just the best. 3 years. Yes, absolutely. 3 years. You're more than welcome to join on a Baby Play Monday, not just for babies. And tomorrow I do Toddler Tuesday as well. So we do more of a slightly older activity, but we can always adapt it. 2.5. Lovely. Well, welcome to you all. I'm so pleased. Oh, it's lovely to think of all those babies at home that are going to be joining in today. So we've got Elmo with me. Oh, and I'm just going to show you what we're going to be doing this morning. So as you've seen in the title, we are going to be looking at these silver blankets. Now then, if you've ever been to, I'm just going to put Elmo to one side because it feels a bit cruel just leaning on him. If you've ever been to any sort of sensory class, baby sensory, or you might have seen it on social media and things like that, you might have seen these lovely silver blankets that are used with babies and young children. Now then, guys, this is the safety warning. This is where I need a graphic that is a big old safety alert for you because, as you can imagine, you must supervise your babies at all times with these sensory blankets. Yes, they are very lovely, but as you can imagine, can very easily be pulled over faces. And there's also incidents of, particularly when babies get a little bit older and chewing on them and biting on them, and little bits do break off. Okay, so you have to watch them at all times. I have played with these for years, since Mason was a tiny baby and now Leo is a baby. So if used carefully and always supervised, they are a really lovely resource. But like I said, you must keep a close eye on them and never leave your baby alone with these sensory blankets. Like I said, sometimes they do bite a bit off and it will like shred because it's like a foil, it's like a plastic. Okay, so that's your safety warning there, yeah, because we're playing with babies and something like this, we just have to be extra careful. So, why am I showing you this? This is a really lovely thing that you can play with your baby. So, silver foil blanket, emergency blanket, sensory blanket, they get all sorts of names. Basically, it's for any sports people, marathon runners. They're the emergency blankets they put around them, or lifeboat people, getting people out of the water and putting these on. They're the emergency blankets that they wrap around them. That's what these originally are, and now they're used. They're very common to be used in play with babies. Super cheap. To begin with, I should have gone on. This is a new one, but it's not in the packet. To begin with, they look like this. It's normally a little square, lovely and shiny. They don't stay like this, let me trust you. You'll never get them back in the bag either. Just put that out there. You will never get it back in the bag. I have picked these up online, as in Amazon, like the places. You shouldn't be spending more than £1 or even 2 for £1. Don't be spending a lot on these. 50p, 2 for £1, something like that. The pound shop, bargain shops often sell them around the summertime for camping season, emergency stuff. First aid boxes often have these because it's an emergency blanket, that sort of thing. But don't be paying more than £1, guys. That's just someone ripping you off and putting the word sensory in front so that they can charge you a lot for them. Roman used to love these until he started to hate the noise of the rustling foil paper, everything. Oh no! I'm going to show you an alternative. If they don't like the rustling noise, maybe you can try this alternative if not, because they are very lovely. So, once you open out your lovely blanket, it becomes huge. It becomes nice and big. Eventually, over time, as you can see, this one has been well loved. It gets crumpled and crunched, but still works really well. So this is it here, and you can fold it out. Now, you don't have to keep it its original size. Of course, you could always cut it. And anyone just tuning in, just a little reminder that I've given a safety warning already with these, just to say you must never leave your baby with one of these, as you know. Supervise at all times, just because as they get bigger and bite them, they're very easy to rip and little pieces could come off. Like that. Okay, so your lovely foil blanket, when you get it, if you get one in the pound shop or whatever, or you manage to get one online, they're lovely, they're big, they're reflective, they're beautiful. Now, as we know, our beautiful babies are like magpies. They love anything shiny. It just makes them want to touch and want them to feel. But also, I've still got some foil in my mouth somewhere. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a gulp of tea. Get rid of that. That obviously wasn't a good idea for me to bite it live. It went through me a little bit, you know, like with your fillings, biting metal. Ugh. Anyway, so our beautiful babies absolutely love these because they're reflective, they reflect the light, but they're also really lovely to touch. It's nice and smooth, it's crinkly, and when we do touch it, it makes that lovely rustling noise that lots of babies really enjoy. It's that sort of cause and effect. If I hit this, what will happen? If I kick this, the noise that it makes, and they love it, and they will kick, kick, kick. So what I'm going to do this morning, just show you a couple of ways that you can enjoy the sensory blanket safely. It's not called a sensory blanket, it's an emergency blanket. Enjoy your emergency blanket with your baby in a safe way, but play with it in a few different ways. Realised I've never actually done these on a live before, and I'm amazed because I absolutely adore these. These are fab. I really, really do love them, particularly days like today when you're at home with your baby wondering what to do. So, first of all, I'm just going to shuffle back a little bit so you can see. Always really nice. You don't have to have it full size because they're quite big, because they're for wrapping around adults in emergencies. But you can always double it over and lay out your sensory blanket. Now, I've got the lights on, so it's reflecting the light. It's lovely and shiny, which is really nice. And you can simply have your baby on. Now, whenever I've done it with my babies, we've had the heating on. I've stripped them off so they've got bare legs, lovely bare legs, and they can kick, kick, kick. They will be lying on their backs. They'll be reaching out with their hands, and they'll be, maybe if your baby's starting to grab things, they'll maybe be grabbing it and getting to hear all the different noises. It's a lovely, lovely sensory experience. They can kick, kick, kick their legs, which is brilliant for them. It's all about developing all those core strength muscles and developing the ability with their legs as well. And of course, you as a parent, you can sing some songs with them and get them involved. You can also wrap it around their tummy and give them a little cuddle, a little tickle with it, because it's a really interesting, it's really interesting to touch and to feel, and the different elements of it. And you can wrap up their toes with it, wrap up their fingers with it, and you can have a little play, and they'll just really enjoy playing and experiencing the blanket. And just to say, if you've got a baby that's sitting up, you can sit them up on top of it, so they'll be able to grab it and pull it and kick it, and they will love that when they kick and they grab, the immediate response is that the immediate effect is that it makes that lovely noise, and so they'll want to do it more and more, and it can be really good fun. Or maybe if your baby is starting to sit up, you can sit your baby with you and bring it on a bit like a duvet and bring it up with them, and then of course they can pat, pat, pat it, and you can make songs with it, and you can bang it, and you can do all sorts of different things, and they can still kick their legs underneath, and they can bang, 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 and they will just enjoy seeing the lights reflected on the shiny surface and the different noises that it makes. Now then, another thing that I like to do with the sensory blanket, because it is so big, and like I said, you are going to be with your baby, you must supervise them at all times. I'm really conscious of the safety message getting out there, just how important it is that we are careful with these. But if you are with your baby, and maybe you've got your baby sitting up on your knee like this, you could sit. One of my favourite ways to sit with a baby is have them on your knees. If they're not quite sitting yet, they could be lying down. You can still be kissing them and tickling their toes and their hands, and they can sit and lie and see you. And then all you want to do is pull the emergency blanket over you, because it's big enough, and you make a little tent, and they can look up and they can see the reflection and all the shining light, and you can still make the noises, and it makes a gorgeous sensory tent. Of course, safety warning, you would be under here at all times. You're not going to leave your baby underneath. Or you could do the same and you can actually lie down with your baby. So you can see where I did this on the floor this morning. So you could actually have your baby lay down. Maybe you've got a baby gym mat or a lovely mat or something, or a rug that you can have your baby on. You could lie next to your baby. Excuse me one moment. Honestly, when people say, what have you done today? These are the kind of things I get up to. Again, you can lie down next to your baby so that you're talking and you're supporting them. And again, you can lift the blanket over them and just hold it so they can see it, so it's not getting too close to them. And you can look and enjoy being underneath your sensory blanket, and it's really, really nice. Woo! Now, I'm getting warm now, so I didn't put the heating on. Now then, if you are making some sort of sensory den or a little tent or something to sit under with your baby, one of my favourite things to do is if you've got any lights. Maybe you've got any sensory lights, maybe some fairy lights or some of those flashing balls. You know, you get those lovely sensory flashing balls, anything like that. Because when you put it underneath, oh, I'm getting all twisted now. When you put it underneath your emergency blanket, if you've got some sort of colour lights underneath, you can also get it on your phone. I've just remembered, I forgot. I used to do that with Mason when he was little. There's an app you can get where it turns your phone into a disco light, and you can have it flashing slowly or quite fast. You want the nice slow one, the fast might be a bit much. And you can actually, I'll find out what that app's called. And it used to turn your screen into like a disco light. I'm not quite sure the purpose, but for things like this, you could then have your phone underneath and have some lights. So any lights that you've got, lights it up. And what's really nice is it reflects off the emergency blanket so that your baby can see all the different colours, but also enjoy the different noises at the same time. So there's a few different ways that you can play with your sensory blanket. I also want to show you, before I go, like I said, they often come in like a little plastic bag, which you will never, ever, ever get it back in there, because once you've started playing with it, it will be crumpled. It's still fine, you can still play with it, but it will be crumpled and won't be quite as new and shiny. What I do is I use a drawstring bag. So I've got some of these cotton bags, and I actually store mine in here. Makes it really handy. You might have a pillowcase or some sort of gift bag. Or if you go to the supermarket, I don't know if you can hear me over the noise of this. Sorry. If you go to the supermarket and you can get those recyclable fruit bags. You know, the netted bags? Do you know what I mean? I think they're about £1. You get them by the fruit and things. You can get those. They've got a little drawstring on. They're a bit more see-through than these. They're also great for storing your blanket because then it's in there. But that also makes... One of the mummies right at the beginning said that their little one doesn't quite like the rustling noise anymore. But once it's in that bag, it equally makes a lovely toy for them to squeeze. Particularly if you've got a slightly older baby, they could have a go at squeezing the bag and hearing the noise. So if perhaps you are feeling quite nervous of exploring the blanket with your little one after I've talked about the safety elements, maybe have it in a bag, or like I said, a pillowcase or something soft. Pop it in there and they can squeeze. Or maybe you've got... a pillowcase would be absolutely fine, wouldn't it? Or if not, maybe your baby can squeeze it. Or again, they could be lying down and they could be kicking and banging against it, and it still makes that lovely rustling sound and things. Just slightly a bit more muffled. So yeah, if you do invest in one, and we're talking 50p, pounds, don't spend more than £1 on them, guys. Once you've got one, I would find something to store it in, because like I said, you'll never get it back in the bag that it came in. But they are a brilliant resource, honestly. We've had loads of use out of them. And I always used to have one in the changing bag as well, because it can be really handy. Nappy changers in restaurant toilets, just being out and about, going to parents' houses or visiting family and things and just needing something to play with. These have always been a huge winner for me. We've always really enjoyed these. So for the sake of 50p a pound, something like that, I think you'll get lots of use out of them. And they last years. You will use them for ages. All right, that was a whistle-top tour, wasn't it? So I hope that helps. Excuse me. You're right there, Elmo, just face planted. So that's lots of ways that you can play with your the emergency blanket, the sensory blanket with your babies. Just a little reminder, like I said, you must supervise at all times and be aware if your baby's at the stage of putting things in their mouth and particularly biting things, they go through that stage. They do shred, so please supervise at all times, but it's a lovely resource if you can use it safely. All right, I'm going to leave it there then, guys. I'm back tomorrow for Toddler Tuesday. I nearly forgot. Well, we'll be doing an activity for slightly older ones because, as we know, it can be quite tricky with toddlers. They're past that baby stage, but they're not quite big enough to do stuff. And more often than not, they just want to run around the house and play with household items, don't they? So hopefully I can help you find some ways to keep your toddler occupied as well. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm just going to check. I've been copying you with my emergency blanket. My 7-month-old is loving all the new ideas. Oh, Rosie. Well, that's absolutely made my day. Thank you very much. Thank you for that comment. It's definitely worth coming on to know that even if I've just helped one person, that's made my day. Thank you very much. That's lovely to hear. Thank you. All right, I'm going to leave you to it now, guys. Have a lovely day. I'll see you tomorrow. And I'm going to be around. I've got lots coming on the main grid today of like how to play with your baby and stuff like that. All right. Bye, guys. Happy playing. See you later.